All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Twilley. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center here at Maryland Capital Enterprises. I just want to welcome everyone today and just mention a couple classes that we have coming up this week and next. Actually, on Thursday, the 24th, we have Business Plan and Marketing 101, and that's from 1 to 3 on Thursday. And then Monday, the 28th, Meditation Monday, it's from 9 to 10. And then on April 6th, we have e-commerce from 6:30 to 7:30. So hopefully you can join us for some of those workshops as well. And we have more in the works, and we're constantly putting more on our website. So be sure to check that out. I will put my contact information and the website in the chat. And I'll be monitoring the chat for questions, but we're also going to just open it up at the end for questions. So you can feel free to unmute yourself once Nick has gone through the presentation and ask all the questions you like. So Nick, I'd like to introduce Nick Rudolph. He is the Regional Director for Maryland Capital Enterprises, and he is going to get started.
Great. So thank you for having me. Thank you everybody for attending. So just to start off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about MCE and what we do, specifically about what our loans are and sort of the requirements and documentation needed for those. And then, like Lisa said, we're going to open it up for questions. So before I get started, a little bit about me. I came to MCE sort of through a fun route. I started working at the Baltimore Main Streets program, working with small businesses around the city and historic shopping districts. Really got to fall in love with the way small business economies work. Moved over to the state program, sort of was doing a little bit more paperwork and things like that. And so when this opportunity to come back and work directly with the entrepreneurs came through, I decided to hop on it and join MCE. And I think it was a great decision. So, but who are we? What do we do? So we're a nonprofit, and basically what we're trying to do is help build and strengthen communities by supporting the small business communities to help build, better cities that they can serve everybody who lives there, and then also become a regional destination. So we started off a long time ago in 1998, serving the Eastern Shore, doing technical assistance, lending funds, which we'll talk a little bit more about now, and then of course, advocating for small businesses. In 2012, we decided to hop over the bridge and come over to the Western Shore and work in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And in 2020, we were designated as a women's business center. So what that means is that we're able to serve you if your business is located on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, or Anne Arundel County. You can see our websites on here. We got marylandcapital.org and Women's Business Center at marylandcapitalenterprises.org for all the information about our services and upcoming trainings. So what most folks want to know about is how are we going to get some money? So we are an intermediary lender for the Small Business Administration, the U.S. Department of Treasury, the USDA, the state of Maryland. We also borrow some money to lend out, get grants. So there's a lot of different funds that we have available for you. But more importantly, we also provide counseling, training, and technical assistance for small businesses. So if you're a startup and say, you're really good at baking and you've decided you want to open up a cupcake bakery, but you don't know exactly what that means, we can help you develop your business plan, develop your projections, figure out what it's going to cost to start your business, and then when you're ready, possibly fund that business. It's good to know that our counseling and our lending are two completely separate things. So even if you are not ready to borrow or you don't think you're going to borrow, we're still here to help you with free trainings and counseling for your business. But most folks want to know about the loans. And so I've broken this down into two separate types of loans. So the first one is our normal small business loan. So those can range from $5,000 to $150,000. It's based on the age of your business, sort of the need that you have, and your ability to repay back the loan. If you are a startup to about 2 years, we're normally not doing such big $150,000 loans, but we don't have a specific cap. We want to know exactly what you need so that we can see if we can fund you based on that. Because the last thing you want to do is need $75,000 get a loan for $35,000 and not have enough to start your business. So the term is going to be 1 to 10 years, depending on the size of the loan. So a $150,000 loan might be a 10-year term, whereas a $50,000 loan might be a 6 or 7 year term. Our interest rates are currently set at 6 to 12%, but most of these loans do fall in the sort of 6 to 9% range. These loans do require collateral in the full amount of the loan. But talk to us, because we can get pretty creative with the collateral. It doesn't just need to be, equity in a home or property or something like that. So even if you don't think you have it, we might be able to work something out, or possibly find a lender that might be able to work without collateral. Anybody who owns the 20% or more of the business must personally guarantee the loan and must be on the application for the loan. If you have a business with multiple owners and nobody owns 20%, we're going to want to see 2 or 3 folks who are going to become the personal guarantors on that loan. We do have an application fee. It's $100 for the application and then $15 per credit report, so 1 per owner who owns 20%. It's good to know we pull a TransUnion credit report, and it's a soft pull. The 1% closing fee and other closing fees are taken from the loan proceeds, so you do not need to bring a check to closing. And what we can do is we can work with you. If you need $40,000 to start your business, we can figure out what those closing costs are going to be so you can make a request for exactly what you need. The automatic payment, what that means is that every month we're going to require that you give us, when you start, we're going to require that you give us banking information, and every month we're going to automatically debit the loan payments from your account. If there is a month, if your loan has been approved, if there is a month where you are unable to pay and you know that ahead of time, you can always talk to us, because we can figure out ways to work with, possibly going interest only, restructuring a loan, deferring payments, things like that. It's also good to know that we have no penalties for prepayment, which means that as long as your loan is over 30 days, you can pay back the principal without any additional interest or any fees. That's really great, because it allows you to get out of debt, pay less for your loan, and then allows us to have some more funds to lend out to folks who need it. When you do get the loan, that is not the end of our relationship. We're going to come visit you twice a year. We're going to have some papers for you to fill out to see about where your business is right now. And really what we're going to be looking for, any resources we can offer you, as well as any hurdles that we see coming down the pike that we might be able to prepare you for. But what most folks want to know is, what can we use these funds for, and what kind of businesses can be funded? So as far as the use of funds is concerned, anything business related. So it can be your build out, it can be your lease, it can be furniture, equipment, it can be working capital for things like insurance, salaries, business supplies, really anything related to the business. But there are a few types of businesses that we can't work with. So traditionally what has been referred to as the sin industries, we're unable to work with. So things like adult bookstores, liquor stores that only sell liquor and are not part of a food establishment. And then also we are not able to work with medical marijuana at all. The one other thing that we do have some trickiness with is if you're in the business of buying property to renovate, to either sell or to rent. So we can't help you purchase that property or to do the actual rehab of that property. But if you need to get an office space, if you need to get a truck, if you need to get reusable equipment, then we can help you. So sort of a jackhammer or an electronic saw is something that we can fund. Drywall and screws are something that we wouldn't be able to fund. Now, one other loan that we have is our MCE Credit Builder loan. And this is a much smaller loan from $500 to $5,000. And these are for a few different categories of folks. Number one, let's say you've got a hobby that you're trying to turn into a business and you're not ready to fully jump into it. You can sort of dip your toe in the water here. Number two, you may have some credit issues in the past or no credit history whatsoever. This is a little bit easier to get on the credit side, so it can help you build your credit. And then number three, if you have an existing business and some sort of emergency comes through, these loans can be typically be done a little bit quicker than our normal loans. So let's say you've got a restaurant and a tree root has grown through a pipe. You need $5,000 to fix it. We can often help with that. These terms are going to be 1 to 2 years, depending on the size of the loan. And at $5,000, it's going to be 2 years. I mean, the interest rate is 9% for every one of these loans. This loan does not require collateral, but of course it's encouraged and accepted and will strengthen your application. Again, all owners who own 20% or more must personally guarantee the loan. However, the fees are much smaller. The application fee is down to $50 plus the credit report fee, and the closing costs are $75 and will be deducted from the loan proceeds. Everything else is the same with this loan. We'll still do the site visits with the same uses, the same types of payments. So how do you get a loan from MCE? So, we're looking at more than just a credit score, and we've got a group of loan committee volunteers, and they're generally bankers, community and business leaders, sometimes retired, sometimes still working. And what they're really looking for is a clearly established business idea. So you want to have a thorough business plan. We want to see your experience in the field. Is this something that you've been doing for a while? If you're opening a salon, have you been, cutting hair for a while? And if you don't have that experience, do you have a mentor to help show you in that field? We're also looking at the strength of the cash flow and the realisticness of the cash flow, which I'll go into in just a little bit more detail in a moment. We're looking at the strength of the collateral where it's required. Of course, a fully owned building is the best type of collateral, but we can work with different types as well. And like I said, we're looking for reasonable credit. We do not have a credit score number. Really what we're looking for is what you've been doing in the last 18 to 24 months. So if you have a 600 today and had a 450 18 months ago, we're going to be able to see from your credit report that you've been working to improve your credit, and that's a good score. However, if you have a 600 today and you had a 750 18 months ago, we're going to look and see why. If you lost a job because of COVID, if there was an unexpected illness or death in the family, a divorce, a car accident, something like that, that is going to be looked at very differently than if you bought a bunch of TVs and went to Disney World and didn't pay back your credit card bills. So we're able to look at that, which is why we don't really go on the score. It's really the whole story. Again, we're looking at the general economic conditions for the venture. So that means, is there room in the marketplace for your business? If you're opening up a pizza shop on a block with 5 other pizza shops, you're going to have to really convince us that you're going to be able to do well there. And then, of course, your ability to repay the loan. Can you get back into the workforce and make these payments if your business doesn't work? So for us, we've got a set of application documents. The first thing that needs to be done is to fill out an intake form online. There's a link to it on the front page of our website. We'll also need a business loan application and what's called a personal information supplement. Now, in the business loan application, you're going to see a list of required documents. And if you're a startup, you're not going to have most of those, and that's absolutely okay. If your business is not in existence, we're not going to need to see your profit and loss, quarterly balance, or federal tax returns. If it has been around for a year, we're definitely going to want to see those. But everybody will have to turn in 2 years of federal tax returns. Now, the personal information supplement, that is a simplified personal financial statement. So that's where you're going to talk about any assets or liabilities that you have, your monthly expenses, your employment, things like that. We also are going to require 3 months of personal bank statements. And then we have a bunch of optional things that you can add on as well. So reference letters, people saying that they will become clients of yours when you open, going back to that salon idea. If you can bring us 30 letters from clients that say, I sit in this person's chair at this salon, and when he or she opens up their new salon, I'm going to move right over. That's going to help the loan committee feel that you're going to be able to hit the ground running. But anything else, leases, contracts, invoices, social media, any type of marketing that you can provide us is going to help tell your story and hopefully get you closer to a yes from the loan committee. Now, the cash flow is a really important part of the application. This is where we see how you think you're going to be doing as business. But we understand that this is just an estimate. It's a living document. It's going to change over time. In 2019, nobody had the coronavirus in their cash flows. So we understand that not only is this likely to not be 100% correct, the odds are that just about every single cell is going to be different, and that's okay. What we're looking for is that you have a realistic expectation and that you can you can survive. And what I mean by survive is keep your business open, pay your debts, pay your employees, and have a quality of life. That's what we're really looking for. So what we don't want to see is cash flows that are just way too bullish. So an example of that is somebody who did beautiful wedding invitations and charged about $1,000 a wedding. And they're a one-person shop, and they said, well, there's 10,000 weddings a year in Maryland. They're $1,000 a pop. I'm going to do $10 million in my first year. No single shop is going to be able to do 10,000 weddings. Not every wedding uses invitations. So we said, why don't you show us that if you're doing, 5 or 10 weddings a month, you can still be a successful business. And then if you do get all 10,000, then that's just great. And so what we're really looking for is that sort of in a worst case scenario, you're still able to survive and thrive. So you want to make sure that you have all of your expenses in there, even ones that are sort of investments in your business. So we're really going to want to see that you've got some savings for accounting, that you're spending some money on marketing and advertising, that you've got insurance, that you're thinking about taxes, that you're saving some money for a legal retainer in case you need it. And the good thing is that our counselors working with you through this will be able to walk you through this document so you won't be on your own. It's also good to separate your income, not only because it looks better for our loan committee, but because it'll help you better identify where things might be short once your business is open. So if you have a restaurant and you're separating dine-in, carry-out, beverage, catering, and merchandise, you'll be able to see, what's doing better than expected, what might be doing a little bit worse than you thought, and you can make changes in advertising or the way you run your business based on that. You also want to think, are you the type of business where your sales change month to month? Seasonal businesses, as opposed to something where, a plumber or something that you're just going to be working the same all year. And of course, are you paying yourself? We want to make sure that you're able to keep your house. We want to make sure that you're, being able to clothe and feed yourself and have a little bit of fun as well. So I'm going to wrap up in just a few minutes about just sort of how the application timing works. But before that, there are 5 things I like to talk about to remember when you're applying for business capital. Number 1, do not quit your day job. If you have a job right now, keep it, because you want to make sure that you've got income coming in as you're growing your business and that you'll be able to pay back the loan if the business doesn't work. Very important, unless you are an accountant, and even if you are an accountant, you need an accountant. You are going to be in the weeds of starting or growing your business. The day-to-day stuff is just going to overwhelm you, and you're not going to be looking at things like tax forms or your monthly sales and things like that. An accountant will look at that with a set of unbiased eyes, let you know where you are, make sure that you're in compliance, and make sure that your business are eligible to receive loans, because you do need to be in good standing with the state to get grants or loans from any government and most nonprofits. Ask for help. Being in Maryland, close to DC, close to Philadelphia, close to all the stuff on the seaboard means that there is just a million resources for you, and most of them are absolutely free. And we are all collaborators and not competitors. So you can talk with SBDC and SCORE and MCE and other micro lenders, get all of the help you can, and then make the best decision for your business. You also want to put your money in the bank and don't take money out of it right now. We're going to be looking at your credit. So if you're applying for a loan with us, it might not be the best time to apply for a car loan as well. What this doesn't mean that is if mom and dad have an extra $100,000 sitting in their bank account, to put it in yours so you look like you've got some money right now and then take it out once you get the loan, that's fraud and can land you in jail. And it's also important to know that no business is an island. You want to be part of your community. And that means a couple of different things. Participate. You want to be involved in your local Rotary Club or Chambers of Commerce. You want to give to local charities, maybe sponsor a kids team or something like that. But you also want to remember that the rest of the business community is there as a resource for you as well. Becoming a part of that community means that you've got other folks who understand what you're going through, who are part of your network. Going back to the charity thing, I like to advise folks to keep politics out of charity 100%. In fact, out of your business 100%. You don't want to immediately anger half of the population who might walk through your doors. It's the reason why most bars and restaurants have sports on instead of news, because if you have CNN on, half of the people who walk through the door are going to be angry. And if you have Fox News on, the other half of the people who walk through the door are going to be angry. And you want everybody to be happy in your establishment. So the way that we work is we accept applications through the first Friday of each month. We then do a little bit of internal review, get it to the loan committee, and in the fourth week of the month, the loan committee meets and makes a decision. At that point, on that day, we will let you know. If it's a yes, a commitment letter will be issued, and you'll usually be funded in 2 to 4 weeks of approval. And with that, we can open it up to any questions that you have.
Please feel free just to unmute yourself.
And I'm going to go back to the beginning with the contact information so that you all have that as well.
So, hi, Nick. I have a quick question.
Sure.
Actually, my business is located in Ellicott City, which is Howard County, and MCE does not have any loans for Howard County business, right?
That is correct. So what I would suggest you do is and I'll put my my email, well, my email is right there, nrudolph@marylandcapital.org. Send me an email. I'll set up a time to talk to you, find out a little bit more about your business, and then I'll refer you to some folks who might be able to help you out.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Amy, do you have any questions? I know you got on a little bit late.
Were you talking to me? I'm sorry. I had the volume down a little bit.
That's okay. I said, I know you got on a few minutes late. Did you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right. I'll also send this information out to everybody as well. That way you'll have it. We can send out the slides. That way, if you want to go back and look through it, have any questions that way, you can look that way too.
Yep, and it's good to know that all of our application documents are on our website available for download as well, including a business plan template and a cash flow template.
No questions?
No questions, I'm here for you.
That's because you did such a good job, Nick.
Well, thank you.
How about you, Dina? It's nice putting a face with a name.
Yes, hi, nice to meet you. I actually couldn't get my phone to work.
That's okay.
I'm pressing the buttons like, yeah, I'm here. I met Rich before on another meeting with Deborah Brown. So it's nice to meet you all as well. I just had a few questions. Nick pretty much answered all my questions for today. And I appreciate all the information you sent me yesterday. Lisa,
Okay.
I'm working on all that information for the business plan. So I'm definitely going to utilize your nonprofit organization. So I'm just listening today and absorbing
Okay.
all the information, and then trying to fit the puzzle together to see how we can work together somehow.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you, Dina.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
You too. Darlene, are you okay? Do you have any questions?
I'm okay. I noticed that Nick talked about your personal, credit and bank account and all that stuff. Do you do anything, by looking at the business's credit and the business's banking accounts and stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. So anything that you can send will definitely be looked at, for sure. Yeah. So oftentimes folks will send, some business bank account stuff, just to show where they are, and that's absolutely okay. And I would imagine you wouldn't be sending it in unless it helped your application. So please absolutely do send that if you have it.
Okay, so that would be in addition to.
Yeah, that would be in addition to. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Charlene, is your business in Baltimore County or?
No, it's in Harford County.
Okay. So Nick would want to probably set up a separate time to talk with you about resources in that area.
Great. That would be
Like-
great. Thank you.
Yeah, like he's gonna do. So reach out to his email, that's provided there, and that way you can set that time up with him.
Sure, will do.
Okay, great. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. And as I mentioned, there's other classes. Be sure to check out our website because there's other classes coming up in April as well. I just mentioned a few that are coming up next week. But hopefully you can join us, take advantage of all the free classes that you can. And you have our contact, my contact as well. So if you guys think of anything later, just reach out to us. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Nick. Thank you for doing this today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And even though I'm on the Western Shore, if you're on the Eastern Shore, you've got my contact information. Contact me. I'm happy to help.
Nick is wonderful, so he's great to work with.
Thank you
All
so
right. Well, you guys have a great day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.